And it looked like I found the footage of Kelsey Mitchell pretty much ignoring Sophie Cunningham during last night's matchup, guys.
Did Kelsey Mitchell just cost the Fever another game and prove every critic right in the process? Last night's matchup was supposed to be just another battle in the regular season, but instead, it turned into a viral firestorm. One wide-open teammate, one ignored pass, and suddenly the entire WNBA world is pointing fingers at Mitchell. Was it selfishness? Bad basketball IQ? Or something even deeper happening inside the Indiana Fever?
Was pretty much ignored in the last final seconds of the game, man. Now, we already know Kelsey Mitchell do not have a clutch bone in her body, dog. And I tried to tell y'all yesterday, bro, and even the game before, do not give Kelsey Mitchell the ball when the game is on the line. I don't know how many times I said that over and over again. I put my faith in Sophie Cunningham, not because she's from my home state, but just simply she's been a proven winner when it comes to making her shots in crucial moments. We all could agree on that. Sophie Cunningham has the clutch gene, and unfortunately, Kelsey Mitchell just ain't.
It all started in the closing seconds of the game. The Fever were in striking distance, the kind of situation where one smart play could swing everything. Kelsey Mitchell had the ball in her hands, the defense closing in, the clock ticking down. And standing wide open in the corner, Sophie Cunningham, a proven shooter, practically begging for the ball with her body language. Arms out, feet set, ready to fire. But the pass never came. Instead, Mitchell drove into traffic, forced up a shot, and bricked it. The arena groaned. Fans watching at home threw their hands in the air. And within minutes, the clip went viral online. Not because it was an ordinary missed shot, but because it looked like the most obvious play in the world had been ignored.
Sophie Cunningham slides right. Kelsey was supposed to pass her that ball. She was supposed to pass her that ball. Right about, hold on. Nope. Right there. Give Sophie the ball. 3-point shot right now. Give her the ball now. Still would have been 17 seconds left on the clock. Now you guys don't have to foul. You guys would essentially force them to go down there and shoot the ball, make a shot. And guess what happens? We goes to overtime. We go into overtime. Then, you know what?
Cunningham was right there, waiting, the kind of player who lives for those clutch moments. Yet somehow, Mitchell chose to go it alone. What followed was outrage. Highlight reels turned into lowlight montages, social media exploded with slow-motion replays, and fans everywhere were asking the same question. How do you miss that pass? Now here's the thing, this wasn't some random slip-up. For Kelsey Mitchell, this has become a storyline fans know all too well. Time and time again, when the game gets tight, she calls her own number. Hero ball mode, full throttle. And just as often, the ending is the same. Forced shots, turnovers, and the Fever walking away with yet another wasted opportunity. Fans aren't just reacting to one missed play, they've been keeping receipts. Scroll through the comment sections and you'll see it. People counting 5, 6, maybe even 8 games this season where late game possessions crumbled because Mitchell refused to trust her teammates.
Mitchell crossing over, Mitchell on the drive, Mitchell missed it.
It's not just a slump, it's becoming her identity. Ball in her hands, teammates waiting, and the outcome already written. And what makes it sting even more is that everyone saw it coming. Before that last possession even unfolded, fans were posting live, "Don't give Kelsey the ball late." Commentators hinted at it. Viewers tweeted it in real time. And sure enough, the prediction came true. Instead of letting the offense flow, instead of trusting the open shooter, Mitchell doubled down and the Fever doubled over.
Attention to detail, knowing personnel, defensively, knowing the schemes. I think a lot of our breakdowns today was just knowing who you was guarding, knowing where you needed to be based on who you were guarding, whether that's off the ball or in the gap. We just weren't sharp. We weren't sharp enough to be a contender for anything tonight. And I think a big part of it tomorrow is being able to defensively be sound so we can get what we want offensively.
That's kind of my question. Would you guys say that?
On the other side of that fateful possession stood Sophie Cunningham, the kind of player who thrives when the pressure peaks. She's not just another name on the roster, she's built a reputation as one of the Fever's most reliable options when the game is on the line. Spot-up shooter, fearless competitor, proven in those clutch situations where nerves can make or break a season. And in that moment, Sophie was everything you'd want from a closer, wide open, perfectly positioned, ready to release. The shot was hers for the taking. Fans knew it. The commentators knew it. Even casual viewers could see she was the obvious choice. Yet she was ignored, frozen out of the play like a decoy instead of the weapon she is. That single decision wasn't just about one possession, it felt like disrespect. Ignoring Sophie wasn't just poor strategy, it sent a message, I don't trust you. And when the player being dismissed has a history of stepping up in big moments, the frustration only multiplies.
People always want to ask these questions superficially about, hey, so this person's not playing, so what does that mean? It means that you have to make sure your culture, that your values within the organization is sustained and instilled, because when people come in, it's a professional organization, so when people come in, you got to adjust, and I think the best way you can do that is just be a decent human, and, make sure that they're worked in and they feel genuine and respected about it.
Fans couldn't help but think if the ball had found Cunningham's hands, the Fever might be celebrating a win instead of another headline loss. The second that clip hit the internet, the reaction was instant and brutal. Fever fans didn't just shake their heads and move on, they erupted. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform lit up with slow-motion breakdowns, angry captions, and memes dragging Mitchell for ignoring the obvious pass. Some fans were flat-out furious, calling it selfish basketball. Others leaned into sarcasm, saying things like, Sophie might as well bring a lawn chair to the corner, cause Kelsey's never gonna see her. And it wasn't just the diehards. Casual fans who tuned in because of Caitlin Clark's influence on the league were chiming in, too. To them, the mistake was so glaring it became an easy entry point into the conversation, proof, in their eyes, of why the Fever keep collapsing late. But the sharpest sting came from Fever loyalists. These are fans who've stuck with the team through years of struggles, and they're tired of seeing the same pattern repeat. Comments poured in, bench her in crunch time. Run the offense through Sophie and Aaliyah. We're losing games because Mitchell won't share the ball. In a league fighting to keep new viewers hooked, this kind of meltdown doesn't just vanish after the final buzzer. The backlash snowballed into a bigger narrative, that Kelsey Mitchell isn't just missing shots, she's dragging the team down. Now, as easy as it is to pin everything on Kelsey Mitchell, a lot of fans aren't stopping there. They're pointing their frustration straight at the sidelines. Because here's the real question, where was the coaching in that moment?
No, I think that obviously depends on the personnel of that player that we brought in, whether they're a guard, post, or whatever. But I think in this situation, I think the more guards we work in, the better. How you work them in, I think that's a coaching thing. But for players, we can make them comfortable by telling them just to be them, make the plays they see fit. Don't think about it.
Stephanie White is supposed to be the one steering the ship, drawing up the plays, and making sure the right players touch the ball when it matters most. Yet, somehow, in the final possession of a tight game, the offense boiled down to Mitchell dribbling into traffic while Sophie Cunningham stood alone, untouched, and ignored. No spacing, no decoy action, no designed look for their proven shooter. Just Mitchell pounding the rock and hoping for magic that never came. Fans aren't buying it. They're asking why Sophie's number wasn't called, why Aaliyah Boston wasn't used to create a better shot, and why Mitchell keeps being handed the closer role when she's consistently failed in it. And the most frustrating part? This isn't the first time. It feels like the coaching staff is doubling down on a broken strategy, letting Mitchell play hero ball instead of forcing the team to execute a smarter, team-first approach. The result? Losses pile up, chemistry erodes, and the blame starts to shift from just one player to the entire system. Because if your star keeps making the same mistakes, and you keep letting it happen, at some point it stops being on the player and starts being on the coach. If fans are this frustrated, imagine what it feels like inside the locker room. Basketball isn't just about plays on the court, it's about trust. And when one player constantly shuts out her teammates in crucial moments, that trust starts to crack. You can bet Sophie Cunningham wasn't the only one shaking her head after that possession. Teammates notice when the ball doesn't move. They see when wide-open shooters are ignored. And they definitely talk about it, even if it never hits the cameras. Because nothing sours chemistry faster than feeling like you're invisible when the game's on the line. Think about Aaliyah Boston, a dominant presence in the paint. Think about Lexi Hull, a reliable shooter when she's set up properly. These are players who could be difference makers late in games, but only if they actually touch the ball. Instead, they're watching another forced drive clank off the rim. Over time, that creates frustration. Not just with Mitchell, but with the system enabling her. And that's where it gets dangerous. When players start doubting whether their effort even matters, the energy shifts. Instead of playing free and connected, you get tension, finger-pointing, and quiet resentment. It doesn't always explode publicly, but behind the scenes, those conversations are happening. And once team chemistry breaks, it's one of the hardest things to rebuild. Now here's why this moment hits harder than just one bad play or one bad game. The WNBA is in the middle of a huge growth spurt. With Caitlin Clark drawing record-breaking viewership, the league has more eyes on it than ever before. New fans are tuning in, ready to buy in, ready to believe this league can deliver the kind of excitement they see in the NBA. But when those new viewers watch the Fever collapse like this, what message does it send? Instead of crisp ball movement, they see isolation plays that fall apart. Instead of smart coaching, they see confusion and missed opportunities. And instead of rising stars being celebrated, they see team leaders ignoring the very players who could seal the win. Moments like this aren't just frustrating for Indiana fans, they're damaging for the league's reputation. Because to casual viewers, it doesn't matter if it's just one game. What they see is sloppy execution, questionable decision-making, and a team that looks like it doesn't know how to win. And when the league is fighting for every new fan it can keep, that perception matters. Caitlin Clark brought in the spotlight. But if the Fever keep delivering games like this, all that momentum risks slipping away. Instead of growing the game, it starts to look like wasted potential, and that's the last thing the WNBA can afford. Here's the silver lining: the Fever's problems aren't unsolvable. This isn't rocket science. The answers are right in front of them, it just comes down to whether they're willing to make the changes. First, Kelsey Mitchell has to recognize her limitations in crunch time. She's a gifted scorer when she's in rhythm, no question about it. But great players know when to step back and let their teammates shine. Passing to Sophie Cunningham in that moment wasn't just the smarter play, it was the winning play. If Mitchell can learn to trust her teammates, she can still be a huge asset instead of the target of constant criticism. Second, the coaching staff needs to take control. Stephanie White can't keep rolling the ball out and hoping for a different result. Late-game possessions should be structured, designed, and intentional. That means running sets to get Sophie clean looks, using Aaliyah Boston's presence in the paint, or freeing up Lexi Hull on the perimeter. There are options, but only if the system forces the ball out of Mitchell's tunnel vision. And third, rotations have to make sense. Fans have been loud about Chloe BBY sitting on the bench while less effective lineups crumble. If a player brings energy, defense, or shooting that can help close games, they need to be on the floor. Period. The Fever don't need to overhaul their roster to fix this. They just need to shift their mindset. Share the ball, spread the trust, and put the team ahead of individual ego. Do that, and suddenly Indiana isn't the butt of fan frustration, they're a team on the rise. So here we are. One possession, one ignored pass, and one viral firestorm that might define the Fever's entire season. Kelsey Mitchell had a chance to silence her critics. Instead, she gave them more ammo. Sophie Cunningham was wide open, ready for the moment, and never got the chance. And fans? They're left asking the same burning question: was this selfishness, bad basketball IQ, or a coaching failure that let it all happen? The truth is, it's probably a mix of all three. Mitchell wants to be the closer, but her decisions keep closing the door on Indiana's chances. The coaching staff keeps letting it happen, and the team's chemistry is paying the price. Meanwhile, the WNBA, at a time when it needs clean, exciting basketball more than ever, is caught in the crossfire. But here's the bigger picture: this story isn't finished yet. Mitchell can change the narrative. The Fever can adjust their approach. And Sophie Cunningham? She's already proven she's ready when her number's called. The question is whether Indiana will actually give her that chance. So what do you think? Was this a selfish play? A coaching disaster? Or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because trust me, this debate is only getting started.